This is your life, the story's in your hands. Every choice you've made has built where you stand. But if you drew it once, you can draw again. You hold the pen, you hold the plan. Who's gonna show up when the sun breaks through? The bitter old ghost or the hopeful you? Yeah. You're not yesterday, you're brand new today. Speak it, believe it, and watch it change. Rewrite your life, oh baby, write it bold. Turn the pain into light, let compassion unfold. Ooh, you're only as limited as what you believe. Rewrite your story, set your spirit free. Your neighbor ain't just a face you pass. They're fighting their wars, they're carrying their past. So give them your love, let it empathy flow. The seeds you plant today are tomorrow's glow. And don't let your setbacks keep you blind. They're just a setup for a greater design. Dream without limits, let your soul ignite. I speak life into the dark, turn wrong into right. Rewrite your life, oh baby, write it bold. Turn that pain into light, let compassion unfold. You're only as limited as what you believe. Rewrite your story, set your spirit free. Carry 5 truths with you, babe. Awareness, choice, shift, consistency. That's your rhythm, that's your flow. And when you master one, the next will come. One groove at a time, one change at a time. That's how you free your mind. Rewrite your life, rewrite your baby, write it bold. Turn that pain into light, let compassion unfold. You're only as limited as what you believe. Rewrite your story, set your spirit free. This is your life, oh this is your life, oh this is your life. Rewrite it, rewrite it, oh this is your life, oh this is your life, oh this is your life.
Hey everybody, this is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill, and today I am feeling super mellow because of that song I chose, which was by accident. So just I am so open. I'll tell you the truth. So Sigrid and I were talking, and I said, Sigrid, I can't find the intro that I made for you. It's a jam, it's a bop. And she was like, okay, don't worry about it, Bill. Don't worry about it. And I said, well, let me just choose this one. And then I saw this other one that said rewrite your life. And I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what that one is. But if I made it, it's probably a bop, right? Well, it is. But it's more like a slow groove. So welcome to UBU Live, the show where real stories become blueprints for extraordinary lives. I'm your host, William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill. And today's conversation is about the power of being seen, even when once felt invisible. We're talking life lessons, reinventions, and why your stories, yes, yours, might be the very thing the world's been waiting for. My guest today is Sigrid DeCoste. DeCoste. Sigrid.
Hello, hello. It's wonderful to be here. And yes, de caste is the
Because
Dutch form of it. Thank you. But look, I don't mind. I don't mind however you say it. It's wonderful to be here, Bill, and I'm excited to talk about life lessons and people's stories.
and the reason why we kind of combined, we collaborated on this, um, because we have met before. We are a part of the same network, and one of the things that I noticed is that Sigrid spent her life connecting with people across industries, across countries, if she could, across energy levels. And I know some people back there know what energy levels are, because there are people that give you energy, that give you life, and there are some people that just take it away. And Sigrid is that person that gives you. She gives. She's bold, brilliant, and still admits that sometimes, just like my new bestie, uh, Nick, a nap really is the best business strategy. I should trademark that. Trademarketed that last week on Nick's episode. But she said the same thing. That's her best ideas come when she's resting, not grinding. So
I think there might actually be a science to that one, to go into a nap state and get these ideas downloaded into your mind. I have done that. I do that, just lie down, rest, and think about something that hasn't really come to fruition yet. And all of a sudden, a new idea comes about. So I think that's a great way of getting new ideas or getting over hurdles, even.
it is, and it also tells you that sometimes our mind is cluttered, and
Mm.
we're paying attention to all of this different clutter. And I believe that when you go into that state of relaxation, you get that um, you get out you get that idea. It kind of clicks. It comes from nowhere, and you're like, I've been sitting here 6 hours trying to figure this out, and I step back for a second, and now all of a sudden I'm flooded with ideas.
Mm.
You know, so go ahead.
And isn't that one of the areas Napoleon Hill talks about when he talks about masterminding, like when you have two minds? I mean, that's not about resting, but that is bringing together and creating a whole new mind around something that is somewhere out there and we're not necessarily seeing or touching it.
So our dogs are communicating.
Is that your thought?
this,
Oh,
is,
I
this
feel
has
so.
never happened.
I've got a little dog. I'm just minding a little dog, and I just heard him bark outside, but I don't think it came through. So I feel that's okay. Hello.
Bruno's out. Uh, so just to let everyone know, you just celebrated your birthday. How was that?
Fantastic. I really let go. I just did exactly what I wanted to do. I had lots of food I don't normally have. I had 2 bottles of champagne. Well, I shared them. I didn't have them all myself. And I really
And if
had
you did, that would be okay.
yes. Yeah,
Don't pressure me with a good time. All right, go
that
ahead.
was
Sorry.
good.
Good. So with all the celebrating that's gone through, people talk about time management the most, but energy management is where the real wealth is.
Mm.
Now that everything that we're doing has shifted, and I'm going to keep my balance so any of my new friends don't get mad. Um, but the world is just different. I'll say that, and it's still unfolding from a global stage. What can we do to network better? And then, honestly, I don't even know which country to network with, or which industry to network with, or which, because people are laying off. They're coming in. So now we need to stand on our brands. We need to stand on our truth. And that's kind of where you come in and help people to kind of work through that process. Can we go into that a little bit?
Sure. So this whole idea of global networking has been with me for a long time, really, virtually since I started in business, because in business, you do want to connect with other people, but it's not only for business. It's also if you are employed, if you are in a role somewhere, because you do want to network with others and get to know where perhaps openings come up and have contacts already to people that can support you getting into new roles. Just as a sideline, I focus on the business networking, but the principles apply for both areas, of course. And I think when we think globally, and you touched on this at some point in time, where do we go globally? Which country are we looking for? Well, I guess it's not perhaps so much country, but it is what do you want to achieve? So what do you want to do by networking with others? From my experience early on, I discovered that networking was a way of connecting with people. And when they get to know you, and like you said, the energy has a lot to do with it. When you are in the room with people, you feel that energy, but you can feel it like we are now. You can feel it as well, the way people speak, the way I'm talking, the way you're talking to me. We make little jokes, things happen. We're just really naturally who we are. So globally connecting is online, is in a setting like we have here, like you're offering to your community to be part of it. And I think that's a key, to be open. Who do I want to connect with? Well, at the moment, perhaps anyone who is interested in talking about a whole variety of topics. That is the way I like to network. I'm not just strictly come in the room, say who you are, tell us who you're looking for, and that's it. I also like to have a discussion. So I always have a discussion point at my live events, similar to what we're doing here. So that can open up. So if I open a discussion on a topic for you and I say, Bill, what do you think about this? What do you think about that from your personal perspective? What do you think about that from your business perspective? That really shows and showcases to the people listening who you are on a much deeper level than just introducing yourself. So where do you go globally? Well, at the moment, I would say for me, English speaking people, not necessarily countries. If there's someone in France who would like to take part in the networking, very welcome. It'll be great to chat with them, but it'll have to be in English. My French is about this tiny little at the moment.
That's an excellent thought, and I want to tell you this. I was just about to answer. I'm so sorry. This is funny. So I need to say this. So right now in the other room, I can hear the opening of Soul Man Live because it's on YouTube. So all of a sudden, it's like the intro that I wanted. It's playing in the other room. But when you say that English speaking, I was really about to ask, do we need to, aren't we currently at the point where we can start communicating in languages while speaking our own? There are devices out there that you stick in your ear, like an AirPod.
Mm.
And when you're speaking, do you speak German, by the way?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So when you're speaking German, it comes back because I speak English. It just translates. It just translates. And I that's why I think the world is opening, but
Yeah.
also how we start networking is different.
You're absolutely right, Bill. And my husband traveled to Asia recently. He loves golfing, so he went on a golf tour, and so he got himself a little gadget that translated his English into the other country's language. So that worked really well for him. So you're right. I mean, we could do that if you were French, or if I'm going to go into German and you don't understand it, there's probably something that we can use already through AI, where on the screen, whatever I say in German will appear in English or whatever. Absolutely true. That would be something that you'd have to set up and cater for. We can certainly do that. I think right this moment, I'm probably I'm probably wanting to stick to English simply because I'm comfortable with it. And really, in the translation, sometimes things can get lost. I know that because I watch a lot of other language movies online. And particularly, I notice that when it is a German movie and I see the subtitles there in English, and I'm thinking, that's
That's
not
not
what
what they're saying.
uh,
Well, there are things that we need to. There are things that need improving, but I do believe that we're working towards that one united front. And as as I get more comfortable with what I'm doing, which is learning about me, it it's opening up my mind to want to learn more about other people and not force people to communicate with me the way that I want to be communicated with, but to learn how to communicate with them
mm.
and to understand about their culture and 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 especially global networking. I would think. Um,
We have in the global sphere, Bill, I think, if I can jump in, the thing is, whatever our background is, wherever we are, each culture, but also each person within their upbringing, perhaps we have certain expectations and things that we know is the right or the wrong thing. And that is something in my thinking on a global scale we need to let go of. Just because it might be important to you to do a certain thing or say a certain thing, that's okay. I absolutely acknowledge and value that. However, that doesn't mean that it would be useful if you were not liking the way I do or say something. We need to work on a balanced approach there. So really being open to other people being different to us and not condemning it or not thinking that's wrong. I think right and wrong is something that we might have to let go of in that sense of accepting other people in some areas.
okay,
Maybe.
so I'm going to stop you for a second.
Go
So
ahead.
that's that. So let me make sure I understand. So right versus wrong. Can you repeat what you said? Sometimes we need to start.
Yeah, well, I think when we are coming together with other people around the world and we interact with them, I think we really need to let go of thinking what that person is doing or saying or how they're behaving is right or wrong,
Okay.
because they're coming from whatever their background and understanding is, and we're coming from where we are coming from. There is not really right and wrong. We make that up. Can I say that? We make that up.
No. 100, 100, and you kind of have to bear with me because I'm going to stop you when something grabs me.
Yeah, sure.
Because that made a lot more sense. We have to stop thinking whether what they're doing is right or wrong.
Mm.
Okay. Now, there's a difference between good and evil. You're not saying that we need to let go of good and evil versus right and
No,
wrong.
no,
Okay.
no, no,
All right.
no.
All right. All right. Because that's where I went. And so that's why I stopped you. Because what I heard, and this is important, guys, always ask people what they heard. Because what I heard was I have to accept that people will do wrong things, which in my mind means evil,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Like wrong, right and wrong, good and evil. But that's not what you were saying. You were saying there's no right way or wrong way of doing something. We're talking about an action, a plan, a strategy.
And specifically in the context of wanting to connect and get to know other people. And I'm talking probably more about certain ways of introducing yourself, certain ways as to whether you speak about personal things or you don't, whether that's a taboo in some cultures, for example, whether, how much a difference there might be between male and female being able to come up and say things. Those are things at the moment that are there, and that is probably that is what I'm saying we would need to look at letting go of if we want to connect globally with others, because with that boxed in thinking, you can't connect easily with others elsewhere. You're going to really push yourself in a corner with it. So if you want to do business, or if you want to go and work, talking about employees and employment as well in other countries and cultures, you've got to accept that there may be things differently, and therefore you've got to be open to it. That's more what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm glad that we went through that moment, because the difference between what you said and what I interpreted was so drastic that getting that dialed in. I don't want to just fill up an hour. I want to understand. I just want to make sure that we're all getting what we need and what we can out of the conversation. Which is interesting as you speak about different societies. And can you talk about I'm going to talk about, and then you're going to talk about. So I'm going to say that the roles of women and how women should be viewed has changed in a positive way over the last 50 years. So we'll stick with that, because right now we're in a moment, and so we're going to talk about 50 years. And almost every country that I've visited has either had a female prime minister at one point in time, or the president of Mexico or New Zealand, and all these different places. Throughout your life, what is the most progressive area on Earth?
Most progressive in relation to women, to female leadership, perhaps? Is that what you're?
Absolutely.
I believe, from memory, and I would have to research it a bit, but I believe Iceland has a very strong female leadership in many different areas. And I'm reminded of a book written by someone, a woman, who researched that in relation to the power women can have and put out there. So I believe Iceland is the one where they had a really full-on female leadership team for their country, for their area, and that really made a big difference for them, because they were very much focusing on bringing everybody along, not just themselves, not just certain parts of the community of their country, but everybody. They wanted to make sure everybody advanced.
That's a shocking. I would not have expected that. But you learn something new every day. Welcome to UBU Live, ladies and gentlemen. As you move through what we're looking at for the next 3 years, what would you do? I'm using a very small segment. What would you do? What would be the first thing that you would do in order to network globally? And how would people what would be the first thing that they would get from working with you?
So the first thing to do in global networking is to globally network online. That's the best way to really make those global connections. So for example, I do that at the moment live on LinkedIn, the networking sessions that I offer, and everybody on LinkedIn that I'm connected to, or those people who know me and are part of that networking membership, invite others to come there. Every event, you have new people coming to the event, so you always make new connections. You don't know who's going to be there naturally each time, so you can then explore further with each of those people, who they know, what they do, and so on. And what you're learning is how to look at the people in the room not as your clients to rush over and say, buy from me, but to learn about interacting with them on a collaborative level, or just even on a personal human level. Who are you? What do you do? Like you and I have done when we got to know each other. Just have some conversations, just find out a bit more on a personal level as well. So looking at networking really is about understanding and getting to know the other people. So particularly with the membership that I offer, that is something I very strongly encourage to look at. And I teach that from my own background and understanding, and all the work and networking I have done for a very long time, since 2002 probably. So that's quite some time in having had different experiences, and I'm making sure that I pass all of that experience and understanding on to the people that come. But like I said, the exciting thing, I find it exciting, is that each time we have new people in the room, and that is great because you get to know someone from Bangladesh, someone from France. I've had people from France coming, Italy, all those different countries. And this is why I love it so much also to talk personal. What's the best pasta dish in Italy? Really, what's really the best one? I'm interested in that. Maybe not you, but I am.
No, I would be too. I didn't get this fat by looking at the plate. I ate the food. So let's go back, because I think I skipped over something. And as everyone knows, I'm not scripted. But we did go over our outline. So that confuses me. I'll let you know. So, so if for a second there something seemed like it wasn't flowing right, it was because I'm not following my natural cadence, and it's there. But here's what I want to talk about. Yesterday or 2 days ago, you and I talked about what we would do for this episode. And one of the things that I really wanted to focus on were personal life lessons and their impact on our business decisions. There are people out there right now, and I know if they wanted to, they could stand up and they can say, I got 12 stories for you. But most of us share the LinkedIn lessons that are shiny, but they're not real. Oh, I woke up an hour every morning, and then I jog for 10 minutes, and then I read for 2. Okay, great. That all sounds great, but what was that moment, or give me a time in your life where you thought you had a pebble in the middle of the road that shifted your direction? And when you originally made that shift, you thought, oh my God, what's going on? Or, oh my gosh, don't want to offend anyway. And then you realized that shift led you to the next new opportunity.
I mean, there are so many pebbles on the road, I think, for all of us that we come across, and the more you walk into life, the further into you walk, the more you have along the way. So let me pick up on one that's just popped into my mind as you were speaking, Bill. I have always been quite shy in the past. Now, I know people say, what, you shy? I don't believe that. Yes, I was. I wasn't speaking up at all. I always was in groups and in situations where I thought I would like to contribute, but I was too nervous to do so, especially English being my second language. And when I get stressed or, I don't know what to do next, what happens is there's a switch flicking in my mind, and all of a sudden everything comes out in German in there, and I can't really think of how to say it in English. But what happened was that I decided I wanted to go and learn more about English, even though I was speaking it okay. And I did some courses here in Australia where I am now. And the teacher said to me, you are really writing very, very well. How about you do some speaking training such as Toastmasters? And I was really nervous to do that. The worst thing experience in that setup with Toastmasters was these, what they call table topics. You're put on the spot to speak on a topic, and you've only got 2 minutes, and they time everything. Now, that was just really scary for me at the time. But because I did it and I stuck with it, that has really helped later on in all the business situations to be able to talk about what I'm doing. And I have gone through different areas of business and different types of businesses, and that has helped me learning to speak on the spot, to think on the spot a lot more. That's not to say I sometimes don't, get stuck and think, oh, what's that word again? But now I can go over it without getting really nervous. So that was a really exciting and scary at the time moment to go from not being able, thinking I could not speak openly and publicly, and certainly could not speak on a topic that was given to me in the moment, to now feeling quite comfortable with the things that you're asking me.
That's very interesting. I've seen Toastmaster before. I've never gone to one of their events, but whenever you're at a hotel or whatever, there's some banner outside and they're having a meeting. So what is Toastmaster? Just 2 seconds. They help you with your public speaking?
They do. They've got a huge framework around public speaking in so many different areas. In fact, the club that I went to here, my local one, they felt I was good enough to go to a competition, which I would never have put myself forward to. Here's what happened. The table topics was the one they put me forward for, the one that I feared the most. I went into the room. I went onto the stage. They gave me the topic. I started into it. You've got to keep thinking, is it 2 minutes yet? Is it too short? Am I going over? So all of that goes on while you got to stay on your topic. I was on the stage and I'm thinking, what was the topic I was supposed to talk about? And yet I made second place. So I have no idea how I did that.
That's amazing. And sometimes, the universe, God, something takes over. And we don't know what it is in the moment, because I've been there before. I'm like,
Yes, so that was a really great experience. I mean, everybody has different opinions about different things. Some people might find it too rigid, being a Toastmasters. I found it good. It worked for me. And certainly the group I was in, they were very supportive and really helped me all the time. So it is for somebody who wants to get into becoming more confident in speaking or learning, like myself, speaking in the moment, on the spot on something. I found it very useful and it was fun.
do you do TED Talks?
Sorry?
Do you do TED Talks?
No, I haven't done any TED Talks yet. No, that has not been on my radar, because I was very focused on writing a book, being the author of a book myself, and then helping others in business to write a book. And that is an area that has been of interest to me, that I've explored for nearly 10 years, I think. I did that.
Okay. So that's going to be your next track is the book? Okay. Well, I have a fantastic publisher for you.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I heard it. I'm looking forward to getting to know her a bit more too.
Good. I'll make sure you guys get connected. And I'm thinking about it too. I'm really thinking about it. But there's two different things. There's a children's book, and then there's the richness of my life. But that part is scary because you have to open up doors that you've closed. You have to go into areas that you've chosen to lock behind you because
Yeah.
they weren't they that wasn't good. And I'm good, but having your mother read it and your daughter read it, and you kind of like, okay, if you're gonna do it, I really want to do it. I mean, it would have to incorporate every single moment that led up to who I am today.
That's right. Yes, and how to structure that is going to be the key for you, Bill. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Because after I write that, it's like, okay, I'm not getting hired again. No, I'm just joking. It's not as bad as I say, but I have lived, y'all. All right. Anyway, so the part of me that never disappeared was, well, we talked about that, was a teenage runaway, you know, and that's where that book would probably start. The guy that slept in his car at 16, and then have it follow me through where I am at, through where I want to go. Now, as a global networking person, we talked about your book. What would your book be focused on?
Well, the way I have looked at book writing so far, Bill, is in this way, that I have actually written a book virtually for each one of my businesses. So I have got 4 books out there, and each one was specifically written for a business to support my credibility in that business, the knowledge that I've had, and to share my framework, my ideas in that business at the time for the people to connect with. And that was already a foundation, which I didn't know then, for the networking and the global networking in particular that I'm doing today. Now, I am writing on a personal level a book, and that one is about a family, kind of a history, or I'm looking at that red thread. I don't know whether you use that terminology in
I do.
English much.
Yes.
Yeah. So this red thread of my family, and we talked before about women and women being out there and the changes globally. I have got a red thread in my family history from my grandmother in the days around First and Second World War, a long time ago. She was the first female in the village where they lived to actually take on her father's business at the time, because there were no males in that family. She had to. She was the only woman in that area where they lived to go overseas to study business, something that just wasn't done at the time. And that sort of little thread kind of goes through the other women in my background, coming to myself, and now my daughter and my granddaughter are in business as well. So there seems to be somewhere this red thread having gone through, and I find that is something I'd like to record in a book. Now, whether it's only for my family in the end or whether others find it interesting, that remains to be seen.
So your granddaughter is working?
Yes, she's got her own business. Yes.
Wow. Well,
I am of an age where my granddaughter is old enough to That's funny, isn't it?
No. It's just I'm so unprofessional that it's just like no, not of the. I just, because you said your family's on vacation and you're babysitting your grandchild, your grand dog.
The dog, yes, the grand
Yes.
dog. Yes, he comes to grandma. Yes, correct.
Okay, good for you. So, what can we expect at the end of 2025 for Sigrid? What is in her horizon? What do you want to complete? How do you want to end this year? And what can we expect in 2026?
So 2025 for me, the last couple of weeks, really, sort of a month and a few weeks to go, I'm going to work on the Global Business Networking live online, how that is going to be shaping in the new year for 2026, how to draw people that are interested in and really make it understanding for them what they can achieve by coming and being regularly part of that. I've also got the additional area of exposure and visibility for people, and that is my online expos. And my online expo, the next one is starting my Friday this week, which would be your Thursday this week. And that event is exhibitors come and have virtual expo booths to showcase, and we do live presentations, and we do have videos in the auditorium to watch. So I want to explore there how I can really bring that out into the world more in 2026. What are we going to expect generally? Well, Bill, I think there's going to be a lot more change happening. Everything is changing. So how do we maneuver that? We need to be flexible. Practice flexibility every day physically and then use it mentally, I guess is what I'm thinking at the moment. So for people, there may be a lot of people who are currently in employment and they might lose employment, but it could also be that going into business, finding something they can do. And here's where the global approach makes so much sense to me. If you are laid off with work for whatever reason and you have an expertise, you're good at something, there are many, many opportunities, I believe, these days to do something yourself and move forward without necessarily having to work for someone in that same sense, but working for yourself. Is it easy? No, not necessarily. What is out there? Lots of different things. It would be a very one-on-one discussion to find out, or Google it, use that opportunity we have and talk to other people. And again, this is where networking can really be powerful and useful, to speak with other people. What do they know? Where are they? Do they know there's something needed? So those are things I'd really like to look at, to kind of plan for, and then look at it next year, how I can be a support for that.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a couple more things before we close out, but they'll be good things. Are you someone that looks at the global economy regularly and says, so for me, networking globally for a job, it might be better to be networking in Canada right now for me. I mean, who knows? Or someplace else, because we don't have our unemployment rate's high down just where we're at, and just for this moment. So when you're in, it's hard enough to get from Illinois to Ohio to get people to transfer for a job or to network for something else. So if you're in Canada and you want to, work in the Netherlands, where do you start? How do you start?
Well, you would want to, so I think this is where this specificity comes in. I still don't know if that really is a word, but specificity is really important. Be specific. What is it you want to do? And is that something valued and available in the other country you want to go to? So if you are in Canada and you want to go to the Netherlands, did you say?
Yeah.
Then have a look. Is that something they need over there? And is it something that you want to actually move over there for? Or is it something that can be done remotely? So we have these massive opportunities these days, but it does require thinking in detail and researching. And I think that is something that perhaps not everybody is doing as much as is actually possible. Research what there is. And when you are out there networking, which is one really great opportunity at a networking event, particularly the ones that I offer, where you have different people each time, talk about it. Say what you would like to do and be specific in what you're already doing or what you are great at, and find out what happens when you put it out into the world, what comes back to you. I think we both agree that, and you've mentioned it earlier, when we put it out there, something happens and doors open.
It does, and it's working. It's walking towards your destiny. I believe that you have to envision it, be specific about it, start walking towards it, and listen to what the your own intuition. And we're going to take this back, both of us, to what we talked about earlier. Um, Listening to your own intuition to me is similar to that moment when your mind is rattled and you're doing too much and you've been staring at that spreadsheet or that business plan or that next book. It's the nap. It's a time where you just shut your mind off. You know, we're going back to what you said. You know, you said your nap. Uh, Sometimes that's when you get the best idea, and that's also what Nick said. You know, and there's something about letting your mind rest in the moment that helps you achieve more. What do you think most of us do to self-sabotage our own networking opportunities?
The self-sabotage often, I think, happens when people constantly think and say, that won't work. I can't do that. Nobody will want that. To always see that the door is closed rather than thinking, where would be somebody who would know about this? Who could I ask who would point me in the right direction? Where could the next step be? Because questions open doors, questions open thinking further, in my experience.
Okay. I yes. Simultaneously, I feel like networking is also similar to um, personal and business. When you're networking, it's who makes the first call. Who wants. I don't want to seem too interested in the job because then they think I'm anxious. So how it's in life. In life, we're constantly trying to balance how actually I'm constantly trying to balance. I'm not going to put that on you. How I'm supposed to show up for somebody else instead of just show up being you, and that's enough.
You've got to show up as you and see it for yourself as being enough, I think. I mean, the days when I was going for job interviews, and yes, it was different times, and yes, we didn't have this pre-selection of perhaps AI or other technical components in it. I would make an appointment and go there and talk to the person to show myself who I am, shy or not shy. If I really wanted the job, that's what I would do. Now, okay, I can't say that that is possible today in the world, in any country, anywhere. Things
Mhm.
have changed for sure, Bill. So I guess what I can say in networking, whether you are looking for a job opportunity or whether you're looking for business opportunities, networking globally, in the room, the best way is to ask, of others. What do they know about this? This is what you are looking for. So being yourself, the other person or persons will get a feel for who you are. And for them to open doors for you, the more natural you are, the more they can see and understand where you're coming from, the easier it will be to get those connections happening. That is how I look at it at the moment, Bill.
That is a perfect answer coming from someone who says that she is an introvert and took the question, did it in under 2 minutes. Toastmaster accomplished. So, right now, if you wanted to say one thing to the world about connecting to you and about how you can help them get to the next place, or even if you're not the right person, how you can help them connect to the right person. And sometimes people, we look at people and they, well, I need someone who's a surgeon, and Sigrid's not a surgeon, but she knows one. So it's not about the person you're looking at when you're networking. It's about connecting as friends, as professionals, and then from there, unlocking her Rolodex, her network, and it just rolls and rolls and rolls. And I feel as if working with Sigrid is an opportunity to, or not working with you, joining you, partnering with you, collaborating with you, being a part of your network, whichever way I don't, being a member of the network, offers so much more than just the network. And it offers friendship. It also offers connectivity, balance. I love the way that you talked about networking from a professional perspective, but you say you also talk about it from a personal perspective.
Mm.
And the first thing I thought was work-life balance. And how do you do both easily?
I do. I have set myself up to do that. So because I do work remotely, if you want to call it that, I'm working from my home office. I can take time away from the computer anytime I'd like to. I just schedule my things the way I would like to. I walk out there into my garden. I love my gardening. It refreshes me. So for people to get a feel for things, I always like to say experience it. You really can't talk or understand anything until you've experienced it, when it is something different that you haven't done before. So the networking that I do offer, there's an easy way. Connect with me. You can register in onto the list, for example, to get notification of when the next events are on. Show up and find out who's there and ask your questions. And in that process, we can have a conversation, and I'm very happy to connect you with and share what I have in my Rolodex up here.
Absolutely. And then when's your next live session going to be?
So that's on November the 19th, my time. So for you, that would be November the 18th. Most of the states in the US afternoon, at some afternoon time, depending on where you are in your country.
So I'm going to leave a link to her event in the comments, and I'll pin it to the top so that if anyone who has listened to this podcast today is interested in joining, and anyone can attend the first couple of minutes, correct? Am I right about that?
Absolutely. No, they can attend two events to get a feel for it and see what evolves for them. And after that, I will ask them, would you like to become a member? And we can have a discussion on that one. And it is really easy to find me. My name is on the screen, so it is easy enough to have a look at and find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to connect with you. I monitor that platform the most. So send me a connection request if that is something you'd like to do. Otherwise, look for that link Bill was just mentioning. Thanks, Bill.
Tell everyone about your beautiful video messages that you send to people when you first meet them.
I have made a minute-long video, and I always send that with a connection return. I'm saying, hey, welcome, this is me. Here's a little video message for you. And then I ask them, and what is it you do? Tell me more about that.
And the final thing, are you ready for that one?
Right.
All right. It's a dare. For some reason, I would love to see you do one of your networking events from your garden. I think that would be so freaking spectacular. It would be you doing something that you truly enjoy, surrounded by it. You can have on a little hat with a little bees thing on it, and then say, "Hey, it's me, Sigrid." And let's talk. You caught me in the middle of, but here we are. And if it's a beautiful day and everything aligns, that could be a beautiful different way of getting people to connect. Because we need to get out of four walls.
That's such a great idea. I tell you what I would love, and I really would have to be very quick in that. I have this enormously tall tree on one side of my property here. It's not classed as my tree. It belongs to the council because it's on their footpath. Unfortunately, they're going to cut it down because it's growing too fast and its roots are damaging to properties below. So they're going to cut it down. But that would be something for me to be out there around, underneath, or next to that tree, because it really does give you that feel for serenity, breathing, excitement of nature.
Everything. I love it. I think it's a brilliant idea. I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you not only came back, but I just feel closer to you each time we talk. It feels more natural, and I will see you very, very soon. Would you like to come back?
I would love to. Thank you, Bill. I think we do resonate and we bounce off each other ideas.
Good. The next time we do it, remember, I'm not going to try to follow a script because it really wasn't a script. Tell him it wasn't a script. We just bounced a bunch of stuff off of Zoom. And then when we were talking on Zoom, I just believe in truth. We did a Zoom call and we said, hey, this is kind of the direction. And then we took that Zoom call and said, okay, this is what we said we're going to do. And so we kind of stuck to it. The only problem is that Bill can't read. And then she doesn't have the script. So Sigrid's being herself, right? And then during the script, it keeps saying Bill. And I think I'm supposed to be answering something, but really I'm supposed to be asking something. So it was a first time. Didn't go terrible. Will go better. But this conversation was sensational.
All natural.
What are you heading out to do today?
I'm going to go on a few more walks with that little doggy that I have got here. And then I'm planning the opening for the expo that is also running at the end of this week.
Good. How did your hour go this morning walking him?
Excellent. He was all over the roads, and he is a little bit at times wants to go his way, which most of the time I let him and I follow him. But this morning I was a bit of a strict grandma and I was saying, no, we're going this way because I got to get back.
Do you walk him off leash?
Sorry?
Do you walk him off leash or on leash?
No, on leash. You have to be on leash. Yes. And he listens. I'm not sure how well he would listen to grandma to come back if there's something too exciting.
Yeah. Bruno's about 120 pounds, and I refuse to have him off leash because if he goes running down the street, I'm just going to say, bye. I'm not running after him.
He can't follow.
I can't. All right. Much love to you, Sigrid, the cast. Tell everyone about how we first met, which is through Lynera Johnston and her Link Ability Network. And then Sigrid is a part of that. And connect with Sigrid after the show. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. This has been a fantastic Tuesday. And out.
Great week.
Welcome to you. Welcome to you, yeah. Step right up, come see the show. Welcome to you, be you loud. No, no, do da 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 do da. No, no, do da 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 do da. Welcome to do da 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 do da.
Yeah. Magic in motion, so on display. You live starts today. Come feel the rhythm, come catch the vibe. Young man, you there, wanna come inside.
Welcome to you. Be you live. Oh, you'll be with the dreams alive.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I had the proud pleasure of ending my week Friday night with the amazing Soulman Live. It was an experience so unique, so different that I still can't describe how deeply it moved me. I am someone who's never been celebrated, and for that, soul man, I thank you. But tonight, we're not ending our week, we're beginning our week. It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. It's time to wind down and lift up. Tonight is not about soul man, that's a lifestyle. Tonight we travel a journey you'll never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sigrid K.
It's alive, you don't strive, don't lie, you don't fight, you ride, you be you like you're alive. Oh, come alive, it's come alive. We don't change tricks, we bring it back. Flipping on the line. With my whoop, do da 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 do do.
We bend the rules like we bend the light. Turn the spark in our hearts to a flame on sight. Secret K got that soulful flair. William Rochelle, calling Bill if you dare.